Fan wars are basically part of the experience of being a fan at this point. Even if you don't partake in them, then you're at least aware of how severe they can get at times. From threats to doxing, sometimes fans really take things way too far in order to fight for their favorite idols. However, fans of 3rd and 4th generation K-pop groups will never know just how hardcore the fan wars were between 1st generation fans. They included physical fights, pulling hair, and even burning vehicles as a threat. The twisted beginning. Back in the 90s, when K-pop was still at its starting point, rival companies still existed. YG and JYP were established later on, so SM Entertainment and DSP Media were competing head-to-head on the market. SM Entertainment basically started the formula for many K-pop groups when they debuted HOT in 1996. The group was inspired by Western pop groups of the time like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and had an extremely successful debut. Their fans also started the first ever K-pop fan club with the name White Angels. The fandom's color was white, and they made impromptu light sticks by waving white balloons to cheer their favorite group on. If you want an idea of just how popular they were, the Department of Education had to actually ban students from ditching school because a lot of HOT fans would leave class early to get tickets for their favorite idol's performance. HOT broke records and won awards, but most importantly, they inspired other companies to follow the same formula for their groups. One of them was DSP Media, who debuted their newest boy group called Sex Keys in 1997. DSP Media originally planned for the group to be a hip-hop duo, but after seeing just how successful SM Entertainment were with debuting HOT, they decided to add 4 more members to the group and made it a K-pop group. It didn't take long for Sex Keys to become widely popular. Their music drew an intensely loyal fandom called DSF, or Dear Sex Keys Friends, and it was later changed to Yellow Keys. The members also appeared in lots of variety shows compared to the HOT members, and even starred in a movie. Because of this, people found them a lot easier to relate to, and they managed to get more fans from the general public. With both groups being big at the time, it was only expected that there would be disagreements between the two fandoms. The media also loved fueling the rivalry just like they do now, and the fans ate it up. Though I need to remind you that this was in the 90s. There wasn't Instagram or Twitter to have fights on or threaten someone's life over songs, so how did these fan wars even happen? Well, believe it or not, the fights actually got physical. Now, just to clear things up, the members of both groups held no anger or hatred towards each other whatsoever. Well, they weren't exactly the best of friends, but they also weren't having any fistfights backstage. The most they did was ignore each other when they met in the hallway, but that's it. Compared to the fights between fans, this was basically nothing. Funnily enough, Tony and Sex Keys' Kim Ja-wook ended up getting closer after they enlisted in the military and even became roommates later on. Even staff members would fight each other. Sex Keys' Lee Jae-jin shared, "There actually wasn't any competition between us. I think it was between the staff members. Our manager would happily tell us, we got a bigger dressing room, or the stylist would go see HOT stage outfits and say, our outfits are better, we won. The fans, well, now that's a different story because the fan wars were something else entirely. There were fights on online forums and fans trash-talking the rival group on TV interviews, accusing them of being bad performers and singers, but things truly shifted in July of 1997. Violent fan wars. In July of 1997, HOT made their comeback with their second album titled Wolf in Sheep, and at the same time, they also started promoting the same titled lead single, which should have been a great comeback stage, actually launched the fan war before HOT and Sex Keys fans to a whole different level. Yellow Keys were in the audience during HOT's performance, and during the entire thing, they yelled insults at the HOT members. The original lyrics of the song say, "Damn you wolves, you animals," and Yellow Keys changed it to, "Damn you wolves, HOT." In response, HOT fans gave Sex Keys the first generation version of the Black Ocean. Since they didn't really have light sticks they could turn off, whenever Sex Keys performed, the HOT fans would stay silent and not cheer or move during the performance. Yeah, I know, it doesn't even come close to the insults that the fans come up with nowadays or the organized sabotages, but again, this was what took the fan war to a whole new level. Things only snowballed from there. Only a year later, Sex Keys got an invitation to perform at the Myeongsan Girls High School Assembly. The school staff probably thought that they were doing a good thing for all their students. Considering this is a school full of teenage girls, they thought that inviting one of the hottest boy bands of the time would be the right move. However, they forgot to consider one thing. Most of the school students were actually HOT fans. Even the Sex Keys fans at the school were not aware of the performance because it was a private schedule and it wasn't announced by the company. Yeah, a disaster in the making. The students were outraged and they weren't just booing at the members. They hurled themselves at them, and Sex Keys' Songhoon was even spat on by one fan. Recalling the incident, he said, "I remember her face. It is so vivid. I spat on Sex Keys. That's what she said. She was sitting and smirking at me with that intense look. I was honestly so irritated." irritated. The Dream concerts also gave quite a huge platform for the fandoms to fight with each other. HOT and Sex Keys fans would literally make banners and posters with written threats for the members of the rival groups and throw water bottles, eggs, and even freaking watermelons at each other. Imagine just wanting to see your favorite group perform and getting a watermelon thrown at your head. But that's not even the craziest thing about it. These fights would get so bad that the fire brigade, the armed police forces, and ambulances had to be present at the concert in case the situation escalated, and often it did. This is where we talk about the 1999 Dream concert. Just like every big fight at Dream concert, it started with torn banners. According to a Sex Keys fan, HOT fans got to the venue much earlier before the concert started and covered the whole thing with HOT banners, leaving no space for banners of other groups, more specifically Sex Keys. This caused Sex Keys fans to tear up the banners, and it led to an actual physical fight between fans. The fan recalled, "I took their banners off and threw it in the bathroom. HOT fans found out and, well, it turned into a fight. We had about 20 to 30 people and there were about 30 to 40 HOT fans. I stood in front because I was a Taekwondo expert. We had the upper hand. It was awesome." The biggest fight between the two fandoms happened in 1998 over day songs at the year-end award shows. This fight escalated beyond petty insults and ripped banners, though. On December 5th, 1998, before the Golden Disc Awards happened, the tension was through the roof, and it led to 250 fans from both fandoms meeting each other outside the venue. Well, meeting is a light term because this so-called meeting would lead to a physical fight between the two fandoms. On top of popping the colored balloons, fans also hit each other with umbrellas and pulled their hair. The fight was so severe that the police got called to calm things down, and the whole thing was reported on the news. But did the fans care? Not really. The only important thing was that their favorite group would end up winning the day song and that they would come out victorious. Or so they thought. This is basically just like when 21 and SNSD were up against each other, and while Soul Ones and Blackjacks were fighting over who would get to win, 4-Minute actually ended up taking the trophy home. But in the 1998 case, Kim Jong-han actually won, not HOT or Sex Keys. Hilariously so, the same fans that were fighting outside comforted each other as they grieved over the loss of the day song. Solidarity, I guess? The members were aware of all the fights, especially the Golden Disc Awards one. Sex Keys Kim Dae-duk said, "The rivalry between fandoms was quite intense. There's a particular scene in Reply 1997 where fans break out into a fight, and I personally witnessed such an incident in real life." He went on, "This fan came over to me and said, 'Oppa, I fought 3 HOT fans and I won. This may seem a bit graphic, but I think she was bleeding. I remember telling her she did a good job nonetheless. I felt a great sense of pride back then." The solidarity didn't last long though. In order to avoid the same thing happening at their award show, Seoul Music Award ended up giving the day song to both groups, marking the first time that the day song was awarded to more than one musical act. But then at the KBS Music Awards, HOT won the day song, and it caused another major physical fight between the two fandoms, which led to fans being hospitalized and even arrested. Now the real question is, did the fighting ever stop? Well, not until the groups disbanded, and even then there was plenty of fighting. When Sex Keys announced their disbandment, Sex Keys fans wrecked a car that they thought belonged to the CEO of DSP Media, resulting in another fight and 11 million won damaged property, 34 fans injured, and 12 others ending up in the hospital. Even though some petty fights took place even after that, there was no fight that had fans ending up in hospitals. Share your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching. Bye!